Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're glad you're here. In this week's video, we're sharing all of our November spending with you. We hope you watch the whole video.
In 2015, Amy and I retired in our late 40s, and in January of 2020, we sold our home and became full-time nomads. Every Wednesday here on our channel, we're talking about our nomadic fire life. On the second Wednesday of every month, we're talking about our spending for the prior month. We target spending about $3,000 a month. We have blown that away this year, and so we'll be discussing that some more in this week's video.
Now, I'm going to be starting with where were we in November. And this is going to be almost half of the video because we had a really active November. We started the month in Denver, our former hometown. We were at a hotel. So we had a Marriott Spring Hill Suites. Unfortunately, it was so expensive in Denver, we had to go stay in the suburbs. This was actually a pretty good hotel. We used points and miles for that. It was a good redemption. Again, it wasn't where we wanted it to be, but there was a nice food hall, a brand new one in our parking lot. Some good restaurants, and it was a pretty central place to meet our friends. So we had a lot happening there. We did a couple of days of volunteering with the Denver Film Festival. We saw our two boys there. We saw my cousin and aunt and uncle, lots of friends, got my annual haircut, visited our storage unit a couple times, and sold our car. So that was a really busy, I think we were there until November the 9th, very, very busy. And then we had one last night using a certificate from a credit card renewal at the Denver International Airport Hotel after we had sold our car, and we flew out that next morning. So all of that was with points and miles or free with a hotel certificate.
And because it was going to be so expensive to stay in Denver, and also because we were concerned about the weather, we decided to get out. We decided we were going to go to Mexico. We decided we were going to go to Cancun. We found a great redemption at the Marriott Resort that's in the hotel zone in Cancun. We didn't have necessarily high expectations of Cancun because we knew it was going to be a touristy place, which it was, but man, was it gorgeous.
Yeah.
So the hotel that we stayed in was also gorgeous. We used a free night certificate from one of our credit cards there, and then we used points that we had accumulated for years of travel for 5 nights, and the last night of that was free. That's the way that the program works at Marriott.
So you buy 4 nights with points, you get the 5th night for free with points.
Yep, and these hotels, anything that's resorty also has resort fees, and so we'll talk about that when we're discussing our numbers. But we had a fantastic stay in Cancun. Oh, also, one other thing is I had a $50 credit Amex rewards thing, so that made it a little bit more affordable also to be there at this hotel.
And I do want to mention that Tim on his Marriott account also had 5 free suite night upgrades.
Yes.
So we took advantage of that and they honored it. We had a 6-night stay. They gave us the suite for all 6 nights. It was a 1-bedroom suite, 2 balconies, unbelievably beautiful ocean view. And the nice thing I think about Cancun, it felt very much like Las Vegas, the strip with all the hotels one after another, the big giant resorty hotels, but the sea is really what made it so special. So there was this clear turquoise blue sea with beautiful soft sand, palm trees, just really lovely. And I will say we were really surprised at how expensive Cancun is. You're gonna hear about that coming up in our video. And unfortunately, our first day of Cancun was really nice weather. We were so exhausted from the past several months. I think Tim slept until like 11 in the morning, which has never happened. And then he took a nap. And that was the only day that it wasn't raining. Every other day we were there, it poured almost sideways for hours every single day, like flooding rain. So that did affect our trip.
Yeah, so it was a weather fail. So we've had a lot of those this year. And so as we're chasing good weather, we have just not delivered on this for ourselves this year. I guess just wasn't in the cards. But again, a gorgeous place. So after Cancun
For a week,
we made our way to a friend's place. She lives in Puerto Morelos. She and her husband live there. He actually was back in the States doing something with his family. And so, again, this is a super cute little town. We can't say thank you enough for Christy Rose and Terry for having us there. And it was just a great little stay. This Puerto Morelos is between Cancun and Playa del Carmen. It's very quaint, and it's just small, and it's also a very nice vibe there, especially along where the beach is. We didn't get in the water here at all. We at least got in the water in Cancun briefly. We didn't get in the water in Puerto Morelos. As a matter of fact, for almost half the time there, I had some stomach issues. But anyway, so Puerto Morelos was, again, another great stop. We had a nice time there. We had some good food there. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then we left on November the 21st to where we are now, which is San Miguel de Allende. We're back at the same house that we were at. We did 3 videos from this location last summer, so I'm going to link that up above. And so we are in a house sit, so we don't have any accommodations for this. And we're in the park right in front of our home. You'll see, I've never seen poinsettias blooming in the wild. I guess this is not the wild, but blooming in a park. I've only seen them like potted in plants. So we thought we'd show those to you here. And while we're here at Christmas time, it doesn't feel very Christmassy, but I will say we went last night to the coolest Christmas tree lighting I've ever been to. I used to work in Rockefeller Center in New York City for 4 years with a bird's eye, like at the star level of the big giant Christmas tree. And the Christmas tree lighting yesterday was eclipsed even that. So at the end of this, we're going to show you some video because it was spectacular. If you want, you can just jump through the chapters if you don't want to see the money and get right to that. So let's get into the money.
So our largest category this month is going to be food and dining. We spent $1,166. This has been a consistent theme with us over the past few months. And
no wonder we gained 15 pounds.
Not only gained 15 pounds, but I think this is an artifact of this fast travel thing and just eating at a lot of restaurants. So that's really driven up our price point for food. So we spent how much on groceries?
900. Oh, you're going to need your glasses for this. Yes. And I guess I'm going to have to do the numbers. $978 in restaurants, $188 in groceries. Now, our most expensive meal was for Thanksgiving Day here in San Miguel. We went to a very special experience for $150 that included a great tip, and it was a very traditional plated meal. We had a beautiful spot with a beautiful view.
A U.S. Thanksgiving traditional meal.
A U.S. Thanksgiving traditional. So yeah. That's exactly right. But we had perfect weather, perfect sunset, perfect view, amazing service, unbelievable food. We took part of mine home for leftovers for lunch the next day. That was $150. That is a huge splurge here in Mexico. I am a holiday person. I miss my family for the holidays, so this kind of helps me a little bit that I'm not really skimping at all when it comes to, and we have actually the same place for Christmas. Already looking forward to that. And then
actually I want to say this one. So back in Cancun, our second largest expense in terms of dining was $75 for a restaurant that was right across the street from our hotel. It was called the Crab House.
Yeah, Crab House.
And it wasn't even all that great for $75. So as we were walking over to this restaurant, we met a couple, and they said,
we said, where did you go to eat?
Yeah. We went right over to this Crab House, and they said it was fantastic, but it was $300. So we knew going in that we were going to sign up for a pricier meal. But nonetheless, ouch is right.
So here's what is so crazy about Cancun is our hotel restaurants were cheaper than the restaurants right outside of our hotel. So that gives you some idea of how expensive it is. It is a complete captive audience. We didn't have a car, and it was kind of expensive to get into town and kind of far. It was raining. So what we did is 3 nights we ate at our hotel. We had Thai food 2 nights. It was pretty affordable and very good. We had burgers on the beach another day, and we ate at the supermarket. We went and got a rotisserie chicken, ate, and some tortillas, ate it just in the food court of the supermarket and stuff like that. So we had that one expensive meal. The only reason we had that was because we got in kind of late. It was our travel day there. The hotel was having 1 or 2 hour waits at all the hotel restaurants. So we're like, let's just suck it up and go to this place. And we still ate like the cheapest thing on the menu for $75. So this is not a place to be cheap.
No, and also, by the way, so this is in the hotel zone. So not all of Cancun is like this. So in the city of Cancun itself, I think it is more affordable.
Yes,
that's our understanding. But in the hotel zone, like Amy said, captive audience prices.
Kind of like
crazy.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Kind of like Las Vegas. So, okay. And here's what's even crazier. Tim and I, in this big spending of $978, we had free breakfasts for the first 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks of our month. In Denver, our hotel came with a free breakfast, and then in Cancun, it was a continental breakfast. That meant that we had, and the cool thing with Cancun, so a lot of free breakfasts in the States end at like 9 in the morning. We don't eat that early, and we are not even up and moving that early. I'm not even hungry that early. So we ate like a little something. But the Cancun was cool because the breakfast lasted until 11 a.m., and so we waited until the last minute. So we had breakfast. It was a continental breakfast, so nothing crazy, fruit and granola kind of thing, fruit and yogurt, and then we'd have one more meal, like an early dinner. So that wasn't even like dining out 3 meals a day. That was pretty much 1 meal a day that we pretty much paid for. And yeah, and that's what happens for 3 weeks. We did not have our own kitchen, and we paid the price.
Beautiful. So our second largest expense is going to be home and lodging. That's not typical for us as we're doing a lot of house sitting, but it was $1,138 this month for home and lodging. A big chunk of that was the Marriott. That was $266. That was mostly resort fees associated with the Marriott.
$30 a night for 6 nights. Yep. That's our free hotel, 180 bucks.
That's exactly right. Then we also bought some Airbnb credit for $320. So as we're staying in Airbnbs next year, we won't report those because we paid for it now. We also had 3 credit cards that we renewed. We had 2 IHG cards at $89 each, and then I had my Venture card that renewed, and I just stuck it in this category, and that is a Capital One card.
Yeah, so we figure we'll use those for hotels as well.
Yeah. And then we also, I don't know if you remember last month, we had signed up for 2 cruises. Well, now we signed up for a 3rd cruise.
This is the second cruise.
Oh, this is the second cruise.
Yeah, since we have signed up for more cruises. We are so many cruises.
Crazy at the moment.
This
so
is the second cruise.
That's right, the second cruise. So the second cruise, we put down a $500 deposit, so we put $250 of that here in home and lodging, and then you'll see another $250 later.
And speaking of cruises, so we have one cruise from Fort Lauderdale to Barcelona. We've already paid for that in full. We have the second cruise is from Barcelona to Barcelona, all around the Mediterranean. That should be really nice. And then we just booked 2 more. You're going to hear about that in our December spending. So yeah, the Rutherfords have gone nuts on the cruises, but we're finding these killer deals and we're jumping all over it. So they're all European cruises. Hopefully we can get there. Okay, category number 3 is auto and transportation, $539. As I mentioned in the intro, we sold our car, so we don't have a car any longer, but we have $250 from that cruise that Tim mentioned as part of a deposit. It's the cruise is probably maybe like $1,000 for the whole cruise. So that was at least half of it. We had $150 in gas. That was for filling up our car in Denver before we sold it, filling up our friend's car in Puerto Morelos, and filling up the car here when we got into San Miguel de Allende because the homeowners generously let us use their car. So that was really great. And then we have another credit card renewal, City Premier.
This is City Premier, $95. This again is just an arbitrary place to put this. I'm assuming that at some point I'm going to use my City Thank You points for flights, and so that's why I stuck it here.
Yeah, okay, next is shopping, you.
This is all me, and so this was, I guess it was all pretty much technology that we bought around the Black Friday sales. So I bought another year of Microsoft 365. I think I have like 4 years on the books.
455 is a total.
Oh, I'm sorry.
455 is a total.
455 was the total in the category. So Microsoft 365, again, $100 is really $50. I bought O-Drive, which is this thing I'm not even going to go into. Another year of that.
$99.
$99 for that. I bought a lifetime subscription to a VPN service provider for $42, and that's a lengthy story as well. I bought TurboTax for taxes for next year for $32, and then I have this Amazon cloud service that gives me a terabyte of storage, and that was $63 for that. And
next one, you might see Tim wearing glasses on the next money video.
See.
Yeah, Tim is completely blind now. Okay, category number 5 is health and fitness. Now, we do not have any premiums for our health insurance here. We have the ACA through Texas. We have a very, very high deductible plan. I have already met my deductible, but we don't have any premiums. You are going to see us having a different kind of a healthcare starting January. We are currently working on our expat plan for 2022. We will no longer have this ACA plan. So we were on the Texas ACA for a year. We're off it starting January. So we're figuring something out. We will have an entire video dedicated to that because our audience is really into health insurance. So make sure to subscribe over here if you don't already, because we're going to do a whole video about it. Okay, so I went to the dentist. I had a checkup, and our hostess here, our house sit hostess, had a very good recommendation. So we're going to do a whole video about that because I really liked who I used as a dentist, and I think it's helpful to see how, I don't know, healthcare and dental things work around the world in different places. So we have a video coming about that. The dentist was $80. I buy a special tube of high fluoride toothpaste. In the States, I did that for $20. We bought a gym. We mentioned last week that we were really going to get into the gym. We spent $32 for our weekly pass. We only went one time. We are at the top of a very steep hill. It's a 30-minute intense climb, very hard cardio workout. Last time I did it, I had 78 flights and 15,000 steps. So when we go to town, we don't go to the gym, and so we only went to the gym once, which kind of stinks. But then there's some more pleasant things here. We had both had a massage at home for a full hour, $60, included a nice tip. At home massage for $60 is crazy. And then I had a girls' night, a girls' day, spa day, pedicure. We had house sitting friends right behind us. They're no longer here, 2 women, and we had this great petty day. Had someone come to do petties, and with a really good tip, that was $24. She's only $15, so I gave her a $9 tip, and that was wonderful to have girlfriend time. So I'm going to let you take the next categories.
So miscellaneous is going to be the next category. This is just sort of the stopgap thing that we put miscellaneous things into, obviously. So we had a gift that we gave to a friend this month for $100, so that's in this category. Utilities is going to be $57, our next category, and this is mainly Amy's cell phone, her Google Fi service, and then I bought a SIM card here in Mexico. So flying down to Mexico, I also have Google Fi. Part of the beauty of Google Fi is you can pause it and it just stops whenever you pause it. And so I used it flying down to Mexico, so I had it for a few days. I had a SIM card that I bought in August, and then I turned it back on when I got back down here. So you just go to OXXO, the little 7-Eleven-like store. You tell them your phone number, you tell them how much you want to load. I loaded $10 worth of credit. Magically, my phone starts working again on my old SIM card, and I think I have either it's 3.5 or 4.5 gig of data, unlimited voice, unlimited text, and so that's going to be
with
cheaper.
With a local phone number.
With a local phone number, and then I also have Google Voice, which rides on top of it, so that still works when I'm here as well. So weird stuff, but really, really affordable cell phone service when you're here in Mexico. And then we spent $15 on entertainment, and this is going to be streaming services and newspapers and stuff like that, so not much there. And $0 in taxes, we're happy to report. For the total of
$3,753. So we did come significantly over a $3,000 monthly budget. That puts us year to date. Our target is $33,000 since we're in the 11th month times $3,000. $33,000 is our year to date target. We're at $41,089. So we already knew we were going to blow this away months ago. We did. We're at 125% of our annual spending. But here's what I want to talk about a little bit is we had a very luxurious month. We had massages at the house. We had this gourmet dinner for Thanksgiving. We are not scrimping in any way. So even though we had this beautiful suite at this incredible hotel on the Yucatan on the water. So we've had a really extraordinary month. I think it just goes to show we do have some things that brought our budget down. We have our house sit certainly helped. Staying with a friend for a week helped. Using points and miles helped. All of those things helped. But we're not living a life that's people talk about like a fire life, that you're going to live this life that's all compromised and deprived,
not depraved.
and that's not true. And I think that this month is a good indication for that. So what I want to leave you with in just a second is that San Miguel de Allende fireworks. What I want to hear from you is about your December. How are you coming in at the end of the month? Are you at the end of the year? Are you tracking your spending? Are you on budget, over, above? We're obviously at 125%. We're totally blown it away already for the year. We're getting a raise, as we've mentioned, next year. We're excited for that.
Can't be more excited.
And we're going to see you next Wednesday. Hasta luego.
Adios.
5, 4, 3,